helping us with these videos. She too, a public school teacher. Let me just say before we go any further, the love and respect I have for people who make a living. Mr. Babalik, yourself, many others, great leaders in our society. They do a lot. I just want to take a little bit of time, and I know you're retired, but that was still some of the best years of your life, right?
Oh, absolutely. When I reflect back on how many kids now come up to me and say, boy, you know, I went into teaching history because of you. Your class was the greatest class I ever had. And even Derek Wolf, he came back before he was drafted, and he said, I just wanted to come down and shake your hand and just thank you. And he said he would tell his professors at Cincinnati about my history classes. He just really enjoyed it so much. And I had most of the kids in the school take my one class, the 1960s, because I created that class. And it seemed like I connected with those kids. And then all the kids I coached over the years, you know, they thank me now for the lessons. You know, I still have kids that tell me, because I used to tell them, you know, you might not know what I'm talking about right now, but down the road you'll know. And you don't know how many of them come up to me and say, now we know what you were telling us back in that time.
Listen, even the late Jim Irons and I have recently hooked up with his son JT. One thing about high school basketball coaches, the ones that I've met throughout the years, and coaches in general, they really help student athletes mold themselves into great, upstanding citizens. And I saw that with many of them who have now grown up and have children of their own. And because of mentorship from people like him and Coach Babalik and others, I learned a lot from that little location where I was broadcasting these games, and I'll always be indebted for what they have done, not only as coaches, but great teachers too. And you know how much I love public school teachers. Okay, a guy who really teaches the game better than anyone I've ever met. He's Coach Bobby Huggins, talking West Virginia. He's got him there again. Sweet 16, J. Wright, Villanova, 727, TBS. Wildcats average 87 points a game, so you know West Virginia's going to have to try to slow the ball down.
Absolutely. And West Virginia, I like them for their defensive effort, but I don't know how you can count Villanova out. I got to go with Villanova. They're still a number one seed, and I still believe they're the best team in the tournament.
All right. Wow. Clemson, Kansas, 7:07, CBS, KDKA TV2, Friday night. Tigers allow just 66 points a game, fantastic blocking shots, and they don't turn the ball over much, which is always a key. And if you can stay out of foul trouble, they do that as well, too.
Again, with Kansas, you go with the tradition of the winning programs all those years. I got to stick with Kansas. I think they'll pull it out.
Listen, the ACC is good, but it's not the Big East. And I remember watching Jim Boeheim and others, Paul Evans, when they would do it up, Raleigh Massimino, the Big East. To me, John Thompson was some of the greatest basketball ever. But the great thing about Mr. Boeheim, he's still doing it at a high level, and you got to love that. And he's taking on arguably maybe the greatest college basketball coach of all time, next to John Wooden, Coach Mike Krzyzewski. This is a marquee matchup, Syracuse-Duke, 9:37. TBS Friday night.
Don't forget Luke Harness second, that Big East, too.
Better sweaters.
Yes, a lot better sweaters. I think Syracuse, they surprised a lot of people, I think, to be where they're at now, especially when they beat Ohio State. That was really a big win for them. But I think that it comes crashing down now. I don't think that Syracuse can pull that one out against Duke. Duke has that tradition also, and Mike Krzyzewski will have them ready to play.
All right, last one to look at Friday night. Mike Soderbeck and I, Casa, Emanuel, they'll be watching them all weekend long. And, of course, the Elite Eight, the Final Four, and the eventual championship in a couple of weeks. Texas Tech and Purdue, 9:57 TBS.
Well, Purdue has the big guy out with the elbow injury, so I got to lean towards Texas Tech. And the guy who's the coach there now was one of Bobby Knight's assistants when Bobby Knight went down there. So you know they're going to be stressing defense. Bobby Knight, that was his big thing also. So I'll go with Texas Tech on that game.
Listen, if you come, I promise we'll have the TV working for you, okay, folks? In the meantime, have yourself a great rest of the night. And remember, for great friends, familia, food, and just an incredible place to be with your friends, nothing better than the neighborhood of the East End of East Liverpool and Casa de Emanuel. Good night.